This is a special podcast presentation from 700WLW.com. This is Doc Thompson On Demand.
Years ago, when Daryl Parks hired me for my very first talk radio job, I had no idea that one of his philosophies would become one of my own. That one of his quotes would go through my head over and over again, that I would quote him as often as I do and on and off the air. I had no idea that it would become the cornerstone of one of my own beliefs. Do you know what that quote is? Do you know what that belief is? That if you vote for a school levy, you are stupid. Powerful, powerful words. I think that needs to be etched in marble somewhere. A big statue erected to Daryl Parks. Maybe on Fountain Square. Not sure that would do it, though. We may need multiple statues. I mean, could we do maybe we could put it on the 700 WLW tower. You can see that from all kinds of places. That needs to be out there. That quote. Maybe Daryl, a statue of him looking to the future with his hand out. And underneath it, if you vote for a school levy, you are stupid. Powerful, powerful words. They should be teaching that in the schools. The great Daryl Parks said in '09, if you vote for a school levy, you are stupid. Maybe you disagree with Mr. Parks. Maybe you disagree with me. Maybe you're somebody that thinks the levies are a good idea. There are a whole lot of them on the ballot today. Are you heading out and about? No, usually a levy votes in May. Any of the elections, you don't see the turnout. There hasn't been as much discussion recently, even though we've been talking about SB 5 and government workers and teachers' salary ad nauseum for quite a while. There really hasn't been a lot of discussion the last couple of weeks. Yesterday and the weekend, we were consumed by Osama bin Laden. But they're on the ballots today. Throughout the Buckeye State, 381 ballot issues statewide and a whole bunch of them locally, and a whole bunch of them are school levies. Yes, I think most of us recognize we have to pay for schools, and we recognize we have to pay for the services we get, and we have to pay for our government. I would say let's go ahead and start regionalizing some things, but that's a conversation for a different day. As long as we are going to have it broken up the way we do, I think we understand we have to pay for those services and those people. The question is, how much? Where are they spending it? And can you afford it right now? I think that's the biggest question. Can you afford it right now? Gasoline prices today, $4.19 a gallon when I came in. Now, the gas stations that I looked at, those are usually a little bit higher. But those are the gas stations that went from $3.99 to $3.15 overnight. They dropped back down on Saturday night, Sunday to $3.09, and this morning, $3.19. $3.19. Inflation on the rise, not just because of the gas prices, but that's part of it. It doesn't show any sign of slowing. So it's not just how much money you have in your pocket right now and if you're paying your bills. You have to look to the future. Are the gas prices going to go up to $4.50 a gallon? They could. That wouldn't be crazy at this point. It's at $4.19 today. Could it go up to $5? Yeah, that's not crazy. The ones I saw today were only 81 cents away. It's gone up 30, 40 cents in a month. In some cases, overnight. So, how much money do you have in your pocket today? Are you making your bills today? Will you be able to if it's $4.50 a gallon, $4.60, $5? That's not crazy. I mean, to speculate $7 a gallon anytime in the near future, all right, that might be a bit of a stretch. But $4.50, $5? That's a couple of days away, the way we've been climbing. So you're going to have less money in your pocket there. That's going to cause all kinds of prices to go up. Food prices have already been going up. All of these things going up. Unemployment shows no sign of slowing. It's not looking good right now. So do you have the money to vote for a school levy today or any of the other levies? Daryl Parks is right. If you vote for a school levy, you're stupid. See, even if it was good times right now, even if we were all doing fine, unemployment rate, let's say, was 3.5%, 4.5%, somewhere in that range, and gas prices were $1.05 a gallon, would it still be wise to vote for a school levy? No, because traditionally they have not showed themselves responsible. They have not shown themselves to be responsible. Not just the schools. Local government. You got the mayor today who's challenging his car. He's going to sue the city over his car allotment. We'll get to that at about 9:33. They're not responsible. It's gimme, gimme, gimme. I get in that slot. I need the money. You pay me. They get in the slot. It's, well, the easy solution is just to go get more money and throw money at it and solve all the problems. You got low graduation rates? Go get more money and throw money at it. Crime in school? Go get more money, throw money at it. All kinds of programs, commissions, organizations, groups, everybody wanting money that can solve the problems, but have they solved the problems? No. So, even if you had a bunch of money right now, even if things were going great, which of course they're not, if you vote for a school levy, even then, you are stupid. Until they prove themselves worthy. It's like giving an alcoholic another drink. Really? Have you proven yourself responsible? No, they haven't. So, it's not just levies, it's about all the other taxes we pay as well. Are you willing to tax yourself? Think about this. You have very little control over your income taxes at this point. Oh, sure, you can vote for people, but you know how difficult it is to actually get them to do what you want. I mean, SB 5, look at the battles over stuff like that. It's very difficult. Very difficult to see change in those things. This is an opportunity to decide whether or not you're willing to tax yourself anymore. Oh, they're going to throw all kinds of things at you. All of the issues out there. Well, it's for the children, and if we don't, then the schools will be worse, and people won't want to blah, blah. They won't want to move here and invest here and live here. Do they want to do any of those things anyways? I mean, we're all, some of us are sinking at a greater rate than others. Some of us are maintaining a little bit better, whether it's state or local municipalities, but we're all doing a little bit worse. 381 ballot issues statewide. Are you voting for him? Are you going to be one of the people who are stupid and vote for him? I just got to hear why. I got to hear what your rationale is. 513-749-7800, the big one, pound 700 on AT&T. Tell you about a couple of the levies that are going on. Butler County today, Ross Township, they have a levy. They're asking voters to renew a $3 million fire and EMS levy for 5 years. It's not a school levy. It's going to raise $535,000 a year. It's for the fire service. The interesting thing about that one, they used to be all volunteer. Then they upgraded to round-the-clock coverage about 6 months ago. And the levy will cost about $85.20 per $100,000 home value. Here's the interesting thing. Whenever they throw out the $100,000 home value, how many people have a only $100,000 home? Yes, I know people have even less than that, and some people don't at all. But it's not uncommon to have a $150,000 home or $250,000. If you have a $250,000 home, you are far from rich. You're not living high in the hog, so that gets 2.5 times, more than double that. So theirs used to be all volunteer. Now they're asking for more money. Claremont County, New Richmond. The voters are going to decide renewal of a $3 million operating levy for 5 years. Owner of a $100,000 home would continue to pay just under $90 a year. They're looking for about $172,000 a year. The interesting thing, the one there, is they had it on the ballot last November, and they put it on again. Boy, we need some sort of rule. That would be a good rule. That you can't put it on the ballot over and over and over again. I'm trying to think if there would be a way to do that and do it well. You're just going to put it on every May and November? You're just going to keep slamming it until somebody actually votes for it? We've seen districts where they put it on 7, 8 times in a row and they keep voting it down. Isn't that your answer right there? If the citizens voted down 7, 8 times in a row, haven't you gotten your answer? Isn't that a very firm no? But they're just hoping you won't turn out. Look, the rain's coming down today. The roads are soaked. Everyone's driving slow. It's gloomy. Do you feel like heading out in the rain to vote? Do you really want to battle the slop? It's been going on for weeks. But if you don't, guess what happens? Ta-da! We finally got it passed after 7 times in a row. Yeah, they're just counting on you not showing up. Some sort of rule. Maybe you could put it on the ballot a couple times, and then you have to have it off for a while. Maybe not more than, 2 or 3 times in 5 years or something. Also, Claremont County, Batavia school levy. You ready for this one? They have proposed a $6.9 million continuing operating levy. You own a $100,000 home in the Batavia School District, $211 a year. Can you afford an extra $211 out of nowhere? All right, how about if you have a $200,000 home? $422 a year? Here's the interesting thing about theirs. I believe in looking down the road and being responsible and preparing for the worst, but they say they've been operating at a deficit for the past couple years, and it's depleting their reserves, so this would build the reserves back up. West Claremont School District, $7.9 million, 10-year emergency levy would raise $10.9 million annually, $242 a year to a homeowner if you have a $100,000 house. But that's $242 a year per $100,000 for 10 years. Imagine if it's a $200,000 home. There's a whole bunch of them. In Warren County, Lebanon schools, for the first time since 2005, at least they're not asking every year, their Lebanon City School District's going to decide on a new operating levy to fund the daily operations, $8.2 million, 5 years. So for 5 years, if you own a $100,000 home in the Lebanon schools, $251 a year. And then the granddaddy. At least locally, I would be shocked if anybody in the state can top this size, the levy that's being proposed in Little Miami. Yes, I know they're in fiscal emergency. Maybe somebody comes close. Maybe somebody does top it, but there's not going to be many in this range. Are you ready for this? Because of their fiscal emergency, they need huge amounts of money. The last time voters approved an operating levy in Little Miami, 2002. They have had it on the budget for 8 straight times. 8 in Little Miami. Every one of them, no. But they continue to put it out there. They're asking people right now for a 5-year operating levy, 13.95 millage. 13.95. If you have a $100,000 home in the Little Miami School District, $427 a year for the next 5 years. What if you have a $200,000 home? Again, you're not rich, probably pretty modest. That's almost $1,000 a year. $950 a year for 5 years out of nowhere. Can you deal? Remember, that's after your other taxes. You pay those property taxes with whatever money you have, which has probably been taxed, right? You make money. So they come to you and they say, you're going to have to come up with this money. It'll be, if you have a $200,000 home in Little Miami schools, it's almost $1,000 after you've been taxed on that on your income. So what did you have to earn to get that $1,000? $1,500, $1,300, $1,200? Now imagine it's a $250,000 home or $300. $1,500 extra every year you've got to come up with? There has got to be a better way to this. There has got to be a better solution. So are you going to vote for the levies? Are you going to be like Daryl Park says? Are you going to vote for him and be stupid? Your call's next on the big one. Fox 19 Storm Tracker forecast. You got a flood watch. It's in effect through this afternoon. On and off showers today. High around 50. Early showers tonight. Overnight low 38 tonight. Early showers tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies. High of only around 58. It's 42 now at 700 WLW. Daryl Parks has said it best. He has coined the phrase that should be at the forefront of your mind today and every day. If you vote for a school levy, you are stupid. Or am I wrong? John in Lebanon, you're on the air.
Hi, I just wanted to call reference to Little Miami School Levy.
That's huge levy they're asking for.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's 13.95, and that does not bring back any of the services they cut. It won't bring back busing or anything.
So that's just to maintain the poor services, basically, without the busing?
Absolutely, and everybody's looking at that thinking, well, it's cheaper than what they've been asking, but I'll almost guarantee 6 months from now they'll put like a 6 mil levy on.
Do you live in the district?
Yes, I do.
So here's what I want to know. At this point, after 8 times in a row, resounding no's, as you said, this will only basically maintain, keep them from slipping further away and maybe having to be dissolved. Maybe they should sit down and say, let's come up with a new approach. Now, I mean, to school, to the entire district, everything.
You would think, but apparently they're not really wanting to listen to the voters. It's probably all about, teachers maintaining what they're making, making sure their contracts, staying honored. But I really don't think it's about the kids at this point.
I don't think so, John, and I certainly don't think it's maintaining the property values, by having a quality school and stuff like that. I'm really serious. I've thrown out a lot of ideas. Some of my ideas would work. Some of them maybe they wouldn't work. But if I, John, can come up with some of these ideas, I'm sure if they got the citizens together, instead of holding meetings to decide how they will raise it and what they should cut, if they had meetings to say, listen, we need ideas. We need some new, fresh ideas. I've told you about putting things online, stuff like that, downsizing the schools. There's a lot of ideas. Come up with some new ideas. This is your opportunity. A lot of times out of trouble and adversity and problems comes great ideas. Necessity is the mother of invention. Well, these mothers need to come up with some good ideas. They really do. Instead of just the same old. Think about it. The same old got you here. The same old got you where you are right now, going to the ballot, deciding if you want to tax yourself even more. How about some new? I understand you can't cut everything. All right. Be responsible, cut a lot, downsize, do things more efficiently. Let's come up with some new ideas. Things like online. There's got to be a lot of ways to do it. Alternate school days or times. I've seen school districts around the country do that. School districts come up with going to school at different times. Then they're not paying the same heating bills and stuff like that. There's all kinds of good ideas. Before asking people to tax themselves $427 annually on a $100,000 home after 7 times being defeated, let's come up with some new ideas. More of your calls on the way. It's Doc Thompson on 700 WLW. Coming up today at 12:06 with Bill Cunningham. Willie's going to have on Dick Couch, former SEAL. Everything you wanted to know about a SEAL and how the SEALs handled the Osama bin Laden situation. It's 12:06 today with Willie on 700 WLW. Back to some calls on the school levies. A lot of them on the ballot today. Not just school levies, other levies as well, and also some elections. We'll get to Hamilton County coming up in just a second. First, though, John on the west side, you're on 700 WLW.
How you doing, Doc?
Hey there.
When you say some of the levies, I don't like mismanagement. And I live in Cincinnati. The Cincinnati School District is terrible for mismanagement.
Oh, yeah.
But if I pay, like you said, on levy that, let's say $600 a year for school, and I have 3 kids in school, that's really not a whole lot to pay for school. I pay, because I want to, I pay for my kids to go to parochial schools, and it costs quite a bit of money. But I to me, I have a great return for my investment. I understand people they don't want to pay for shoddy schools, but if there is no money, the schools you're not going to ever, you're not going to get anything out of them. So there's got to be some sort of equilibrium somewhere where, there's got to be an operating budget. There's got to be some money coming in, or you're just going to have nothing.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, you got to remember, though, these levies, these aren't your only taxes for the schools, and certainly not your only taxes for the, for the district, for police, fire, whatever. This is just additional in many cases, or to continue something that's already existed. But those aren't your only ones you're paying for that school.
I have to research that, but I think the Little Miami one, they get very little from the normal tax base.
Well, I'm talking about all of them. I mean, these are not your only taxes that go to your school, and certainly not government, even locally. But as Little Miami, as the caller pointed out a little bit ago, this would just maintain. It wouldn't even bring back busing and all of that stuff.
Oh, I know. There's quite a bit of mismanagement. Don't get me wrong. And I pay to make sure that my management, and of course I get a little more say in mine because we're directly involved, but I don't see where they can't. They have to have something. Right now I'm paying my taxes for schools for the last 20 years that I've not used. And,
right. And how frustrating is that? That's the reason school choice has been, one of the things I've gotten behind. That your money should go and be able to put your kids in Prokey or wherever else.
The only problem with school choice is that once you place your child in a Prokey school at your own violation, you are basically telling the state you can afford to do that, and you're no longer optional for vouchers unless you pull them out of your Prokey school for 1 year into a failing school and then pull them back out.
Well, so with school choice, John, and the way I've talked about it, and hopefully the goal will be that wouldn't be the case. You would simply be able to put your kids where you wanted to put them.
That would be great, but that's not how it is right now.
Right, and I know that. It's got to be frustrating for you and other people that pay those property taxes, that people may vote you a tax increase, even though you're paying for your kids to go to another school. And, of course, the people that don't own the property get to vote as well. Well, they want to live in a nice area, right? That's one of the other problems with the property taxes, paying for the schools. Ron in Anderson Township, hi there.
Hi. I think it's inappropriate for you to come on the air and say there's 100 school levies out there and make a blanket statement.
Hang on a second. Hang on, John. Let's take it piece by piece here. I didn't say 100. I said 381 statewide things on the ballot today is what I said, and then I talked specifically about some of the ones locally.
Well,
but please continue.
You're making a blanket statement that anybody is stupid who votes for any school levy. So you're making a blanket statement that all the school levies are wrong.
Yes.
You're not specific about which ones may be needed and which ones aren't. You're just saying that no school levy is needed ever, and don't vote for them.
Yes, that is correct.
I'll make a blanket statement that the teachers' unions and people should boycott anybody who advertises on WLW. Mm-hmm. And I have no basis for doing that. Mm-hmm. The basis on you making a blanket statement that all school levies are bad, I'm making a blanket school levy that I hope people will boycott all your advertisers because of your stupid statements to not vote for any school levy ever.
So let me make sure I understand this, Ron. Because I'm talking about school levies, and I even laid out my argument why voting for school levies is dumb, because they haven't been responsible. Aside from the individual ones and us not being able to afford them right now, generally speaking, I laid out my argument that they have not been responsible with the money. And because I say that, because I talk about things that are actually going on in local communities, and I tell people they're dumb because they have been taken advantage of by school districts, because of that, you are trying to give me a shot and hurt 700 WLW. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, correct.
That's correct. So my motivations being very pure, good, and genuine, yours being just to hurt the station because you disagree.
I don't see your blanket statement being pure. You cannot.
John, Ron, I just told you. Hold on a second. Did you hear my argument for that at the beginning?
Do you know every
Ron, did you hear my argument? What's that?
I heard your arguments.
Okay. I made my argument.
True. Some of your arguments are true, and they can function better, like every business can function better. Okay? So why don't you make a blanket statement that don't support any business because they are not operating efficiently?
Ron,
don't support any business.
Ron, wait a second. Ron, wait a second. I do that all the time, and I tell people to vote with their dollars all the time. So you're kind of a Johnny-come-lately to this thing. I just think it's interesting that I laid out my argument, and I can back that up. I could stay on the air for 57 hours straight with examples on how your school districts, your local government, your state government, and your federal government takes advantage of you every day, that they have not proven themselves worthy of any new taxes.
I would agree
every day. And that is the reason, Ron, you're agreeing with it. That is the reason I say if you go out there and voluntarily vote yourself another tax before telling them to get themselves in order, you are stupid. So you just agreed with me, but yet you felt the need, even though my motivations are pure, to tell you how you're being taken advantage of. You want to give 700 WLW a shot. Well, it's not going to work, Ron. I appreciate the attempt. That's the reason I didn't try to stop you. People should vote with their dollars. You don't like what I'm saying? Fine, vote with them. If you do, support our advertisers. It's not going to make a difference. People support the station. But ask yourself, Ron, if we weren't here talking about these things, if Jim Scott wasn't on in the morning, me, Willie, Sloaney, and Tracy, throughout the day, the entire staff covering these issues, who would be there for you? Who would be calling these people out? Doc Thompson, 700 WLW. Doc Thompson, 700 WLW. About 11:20 this morning, we're going to talk about the mayor suing the city for his car. We were going to do it at 9:33 originally, and we got sidetracked with all the different levies. There's a lot of information to cover. We'll do that at 11:20, though. Give you some of the things on the ballot in Hamilton County. There's a bunch. Deer Park has a school bond, proposed 5.86. Would generate $30 million, but it's for 38 years. They're trying to build a new K-5 elementary school. $100,000 home, $175 a year. Loveland School levy, $3.5 million. This would be a continuing operating levy, would raise $2.7 million annually. Norwood School levy, $8.61 million. It's a 10-year emergency levy, would raise $3.4 million annually. Harrison, there's a mayoral primary, 2 Republican council members running for mayor. Deer Park has a council primary. Cleves has an operating levy, $6 million, $100,000 homeowner, $182. Elmwood Place has a fire levy and a police levy. Fire levy, 2.0 million. It's a renewal levy, generate $42,000 a year. And the police levy would be $1.5 million. Columbia Township has a road levy, $2.25 million. Homeowner of a $100,000 house, $68 a year. Those are just some of the ones in Hamilton County. Interesting one in Warren County. Franklin, that's up in the northwestern county corner of the county. They haven't had an income tax raise since 1975. They're asking for a 0.5% increase. The current tax is 1.5%. I like the idea of not having a raise since 1975. You got to ask yourself when you go there, too, what do you get for your services? Ohio is one of the most heavily taxed states. Our tax burden across the board, we are near the top. When you factor everything in, that's, of course, not including federal and everything we have to deal with. So you would expect, with those outrageous taxes, for our schools to lead the nation, right? They don't. What about our roads? Are our roads the best in the country? No. How about our other services? Do we have the best services? No. I've lived all over the country. Nebraska, New Mexico, Alabama, West Virginia, Virginia, different parts of Ohio. I've lived all over the place. We don't have the best services. In fact, some are even worse. So what is our tax burden? As of 2008, these are the most recent ones I have. Ohio ranks 13th, one being the highest tax burden state. We rank 13th. New Jersey, New York, California, Connecticut are the first four. We are 13th. Indiana and Kentucky are 28th and 18. The lowest, Alaska, they're at 50. Florida's 34, well, because they get it all in tourism dollars. South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Wyoming, all in the 40s. So we're 13th this year. Has Ohio always been that way? No. 1988, Ohio was 21st. 1987, we were 22nd. Just keep going back. 1981, Ohio was 31st. At that time, Indiana was 43rd, and Kentucky was 27th. So the tri-state, we just keep getting higher and higher on that list in general. In 1980, Ohio was 36th, ranking 1 being the highest tax burden state. We were 36th back then. Indiana was 45th, and Kentucky was 29th. We just keep getting higher and higher on that list. 1978, Ohio was 38th. Indiana was 44. Kentucky, 28. They continue to tax us more and more. And what's worse, we continue to tax ourselves more and more. See how many people vote for those levies today. To quote Daryl Parks, if you vote for a school levy, you're stupid. If you go to 700WLW.com, you can find some great deals for Mom for Mother's Day. You know, it's coming up Sunday. In fact, you can get her a spa treatment at half price at Parlor on the Avenue in Harrison. A spa treatment for half price at Parlor on the Avenue for Mom for Mother's Day. Just go to 700WLW.com and click on Lance's Deal of the Day. Got an interesting email. Doug sent me to doc at 700WLW.com. He said, yesterday morning, 3 of us went to Arab, Alabama to deliver relief supplies. We were shocked to pay $4.16 16 a gallon in Cincinnati, but only $3.56 in Arab, Alabama. Many stations were closed, and they could easily charge $4 or more, but it was less. So in Arab, Alabama, they paid $3.56 a gallon, but in Cincinnati, $4.16 a gallon. Well, some of that comes down to taxes. I'm not sure what the off the top of my head, what the gasoline tax is in Alabama. Different areas, it could take some, more to ship into. All kinds of different things go into it. But I would think one of the other things, it's Arab, Alabama, right? Arab, Alabama, of course they're going to be cheaper. Let's go to Sam. You're on 700 WLW.
Hey, Doc. Thanks for the job you do. But I think you need to invite this guy on that wants to boycott your radio station. And the advertiser, he gave you the best argument. And these people in the real world, when a business is inefficient and not supplying a product, they automatically go out of business because nobody supports them.
Right. Exactly. No, that's a tremendous point.
So that's what happens in the world. When you're not supplying a product, you go out of business. Why do people pay money to send to private parochial schools? It's for a product.
Right. They're looking for something they're not getting in the public schools. Often it's a religious education, but a lot of times it's a better education. Joe in Columbus, you're on the big one.
Hey, Doc. My thing was with the Senate Bill 5 and all those tens of thousands of teachers marching in Columbus because they don't want to pitch in and do their part to bring their salaries and benefits more in line with the private sector. After all of that, I'll never, ever vote for another levy for a school.
Well, I certainly understand your passion, Joe. I would say this. If you're a teacher in that situation, I get where you're coming from. Nobody wants to lose their jobs. Nobody wants to be in that situation. Nobody wants to have their taxes go up. Nobody wants to be without a job. They want their industry to do well. But if you really believe that we're all going to have to feel the pain, if you really believe that, then you shouldn't have fought it. It comes down to all of us saying, what about me? Well, I don't want to. Let those people pay it. Raise the tax on cigarettes. Raise it on something I don't use. Instead of, let's come up with a new plan, new ideas, And once we get solid ideas, first of all, the ideas are out there. On a national level, the ideas are out there. Fair tax, flat tax, there's a bunch of ideas out there. Balanced budget amendment, all kinds of things that would be, without question, good for us. It would be good for America and good for us. Then at that point saying, all right, we're willing to deal with the pain. Doc Thompson on the home of the Reds, 700 WLW.